What is up, guys? It's your boy JB Cuts. I'm back with another YouTube video. I'll be walking you guys through with a nice mid fade tutorial. As you can see, I got that cape around my boy's neck, so you can look like a neck, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm gonna get my boy fresh. As you can see, it's crusty, but yeah, as you can see, I'm using one of my JBC brushes which I sell on my Instagram. So yeah, I'm gonna remind you guys later in the video, but yeah, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe on this video. If you want to see more videos like this, just comment in the comment section. And yeah, I did my consultation with my client. As you can see, I asked him what does he want, what does he need. You know, it's not just a want, but it's a need, you know, to look fresh. And yeah, I went in with my clippers, which is zero gap. I will do a YouTube tutorial video on that. I went in with my zero gap clippers. As you can see, I don't use trimmers, but I am using a trimmer to, you know, clear and make the fade more bold, and it does quite a pretty much of a good job. But yes, like I said, first guideline is a mid fade. Start nice and low, not too low, because you don't want to waste time or so, you don't want to waste the client's time or so. So yeah, I went with a closed lever with my clippers, and as you can see, the line doesn't need to be perfect. And yeah, like the trimmer I said, it does a quite good job. And as you can see, it looks quite close to the skin, more like a skin fade. And look at the brush, just doing a good job. But yeah, I'm gonna leave you guys to it, and I will get you guys at the next step.
As you guys can see, I'm going in with my comb, you know, just to prepare the ears so that the cord can go easier through it, and you know, the clippers. And I went in with my 1.5 cord open, but my client asked for one, but I went in with my 1.5
just to make sure that, you know, I don't go too short with it. I always stay, you know, my thumb of rule is basically just to take lazy off, just to say safe in the, you know, safe zone. And from there I decide, okay, I need to go lower now because the client wants it nice and, you know, flat, nice and neat. And as you can see, I progressed over to the 1 guard, which now it becomes nice and flat and nice and evenly spread out over, you know, his head, over my client's head. And you know, I go a couple of times over his head just to make sure that it's evenly spread out in the hair or over the head, especially in the, you know, the bumps, the area of the, you know, a human head is not perfectly shaped, so you have to go over certain areas a few times. And my first step into the fading process, as you can see, I'm fading from up downwards. So guys, you just, you know, if you have your notebook out, take your pen and, you know, draw what you need to do if you also yourself trying to be a barber. And yeah, I went in with my 1.5. As you can see, that's the guideline. And when it reaches that guideline, I have like a flick out motion, which in this process I'm basically debulking. And from debulking, I try to, you know, make the fade blend from up downwards, and I keep my zero guard for last. And yeah, this is what's how the magic happens. As you can see, I changed my guards to a 1 guard, and that's where I stop by fingers width. And you know, the dark line there, or the line that just disappeared now, is the line where you should flick out. And yeah, that's my 1 guard, just making sure with you guys, and just watch the magic. And yeah, I'm also going down with my my 1 guard, because I want to flatten out that line, because the darker the line, the, you know, more difficult it is to, you know, take it out. But yeah, I went down with that 1 guard, and I'm going closed up with my 1.5. I actually changed it, but I'm going to change it back to the 1.5 close. But I'm going in with my 1 guard again, as you can see, and it's closed, and I'm staying low below that dark line, just to prepare it for, you know, the next phase, which I'm going to use my 0.5 guard, and to ensure that when I use no guard, that it's easy to fade from the bottom upwards. So yeah, I'm using my 1 guard, like I said, and I'm still doing that flick out motion. Keep on brushing it with that JVC, you know, fade brush. Don't forget, guys, to get you copy some in my Instagram. And like I said, 1.5 closed, the line is starting to, it's starting to do their magic. It's starting to disappear, and the fade is starting to look clear, crispy, but it's not done, as it actually far from done. But like you see on the screen, I have my 0.5 guard coming in hot, and there's the line. That is where you should flick out, and it's more like a stiff hand motion with a flick. Stiff hand motion, but with a flick upwards, just to make sure that you don't create harsh guidelines, because when you create harsh guidelines, that is your enemy. You do not want that. And the clients will be doesn't even know about barbering, but they will see lines and they will call out, and that is not what you want from clients. As you can see in that area, that transparent area, I'm going in with my 0.5 open lever, which means lazy off, and I'm keeping it a 1, close to 1 width of a finger. And play with the lever. So when I have my open lever, I keep it 1, close to 1 width of a finger, and from there I close it, which means I lift the lever up gradually, which means also I stay lower from a 1 width of a finger, which means it becomes tighter and tighter and tighter, and that's what creates the base from the bottom of the fade. And this is where most beginner barbers stop their fade, but this I was also culprit of, and you should not stop there. And from here, remember, when you do, it's the same like English. You have your rough draft, but from there you have to edit so that it can become your final draft, understand? So basically the same with a fade. You have your editing process, but first you need to have your rough draft, which I have, and now I'm busy with my editing. And then at the end of the video, you'll see a montage of the final draft, which should be perfect or close to perfect, because no haircut is perfect, boys. And just watch me play around with the lever. I'm using my corners of the blade just to attack or erase those dark areas of the fade, and brushing down is a major factor. And I'm gonna leave you guys to it, and I'm gonna play around with the darker areas, going in the specific area I used the guard before. I'm gonna keep it in that area, like there with my 1.5, and I'm just going over, because I see there's a darker area in that spot, and I'm brushing, boom boom boom. And remember, the fade will always look blurry, but it will not look complete. Why? Because the trim is not yet in, but we're gonna get there, and I'm gonna leave you guys to it. Just enjoy the video, the fading process, and solid. So guys, as you can see, I'm using the JBC brush to keep the hairs flat, and I'm aligning it with my clippers and his hairline. That's just the way I do it, and I prefer it like that. I start always from the middle, and as you can see, that line there, and from the middle line I try to arch it to the corners, and from the middle I always go to the highest corner, and I go to my left, and gradually I go to my corner of my left hand side, and then align it with my right hand side. But from this side I will only do my left hand side, and you will see the completed version after this. But this with the same with the fading process, with the trimming, I'd always have a rough draft, editing, and then a final draft. And my rough draft, I start always with my clippers, which is quite sharp, as you can see, and I shouldn't even leave it here. And this is where my editing comes in, when I come with my blade and my razor and make everything look crispy, sharp, so the guy can look clean, faded, blurry, sharp with a rule. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna leave you guys to it, and just enjoy the art, enjoy the the process. As you guys can see, I did the left hand side already. I completed the left hand side, but I left the back, so you guys can see how I can connect it to.
I will be sewing with my, okay, I have the one guard in my clippers, but as you can see, there's a dark area that I left open, and pretty much what I showed you on the one side, just continue backwards and connect it to, and you will see certain darker areas, but just keep on going with the process. And yeah, that area, that's where I sit. Remember the red line that I showed you guys with the 0.5, that is exactly where you should be with the 0.5 card. And yeah, from there, just it's like a eraser, just gradually erasing so that you can make sure that everything becomes clear. And can you see there, without the guard, the no guard is a very important step, because it allows you to create that base of a fade, ensuring that it looks like a fade, you know what I mean, going from the bald skin to the dark hair that's faded upwards. As you can see, I'm doing the right hand side of his trim, and I'm going to continue with the right hand side from the left hand side to the right hand side, sorry for that. But yes, you saw I did the left hand side right before this, and it looked quite skewed, but you see the angle where I'm from now, it creates quite of a straight line from the front. And that's what I meant when someone walks in the road, for instance, and he walks normal with his head looking to the front. That's just how the head is. Most beginners, they try to think, or most beginners, which like I said, I'm a culprit of, you think that the head is flat, and you want to just trim his head and make it straight as possible, but then at the end of the day it looks like a rainbow. That's because you did not curve it good enough, depending on the radius of his head. Enjoy it. And this is my step. I'm going in, creating that moisturized and setting up the hairline so they can be nice and soft with my blade, and so they can glide through the trim. I just went in my razor with my blade, making sure that it's extra sharp. With this, as you can see from the top, I'm pulling the skin, and with my blade I'm going against with the motion from where I'm pulling, and this creates tension, which ensures that I don't cut the client open, which you do not want to do, you know what I mean. It's no surgery, it's just you making the guy look sharp. And just enjoy the magic happens, enjoy the art, and hopefully you can pull through with a sharp hairline also, if you're a barber also. But if you're a client watching this, and you at least know what to expect from your barbers to do. So you can't just leave your client just like that. You can put the haircut, but if he has a beard, bro, ask you need to sharpen up your beard. You need to line it up. You need to fade it up. You know what I mean? All these extra things. Do not be shy, or do not be lazy. If your client is looking sharp all around, and as you can see, I'm doing his beard. I'm just sharpening it up. He doesn't want it actually shorter, so I just brushed it up for him, and kept it just so, because he's on the process of growing a clean beard. And not gonna lie, the guy looks clean, looks sharp, he looks fresh, and he even booked for in 2 weeks time. So if you do the extras, your client sees it, he notices it, and
So it's not a tutorial video on actually doing the beard, or as you can see, I'm doing his eyebrows and the eyebrow slit also. The tutorial on the haircut, but this is extras I'm showing so that the guy can look clean and spotless when he walks out the barbershop. And I must say, I'm doing a good job. Or if you guys agree, comment down in the comment section below and let me know if the haircut is clean. My guy, how's it looking?
Fresh.
Out of 10.
10 out of 10, my brother.
Mas kamu gini sih. So if you put on that spice ball, you know what I mean? Make the man burn and like the haircut. Sebelah sana, ini looks so. That's the reaction. It's burning, right? Boys, I'm selling one of these brushes. Check it out on IG. I suppose on my story today, so yeah.
What's the price of these brushes?
It's 50 rand. It's actually here's a bag, but I've sold like 30 or 40 already. So now 2 months, 1 month and a few weeks that I'm selling, but I told myself now I'm going to use myself also. Yeah, boys, let me do a montage video quickly. A nice video. If you're still here, thank you for watching, boy. And yeah, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe if you haven't yet. And thank you.